Hi, this is R.J.Sullivan. We're going to try something new and see if it catches on, and maybe we'll do it again when you least expect it. I'm going to do a quick reading of my second novel, Haunting Obsession, and if you like it, maybe we'll do it again. If not, then we won't. So we're just going to start rolling, see what happens, and if I make a mistake, I'll just go back and correct it, and we'll just kind of wing it here. So this is the first book put out by 7 Star Press. It was the second of my paranormal thriller trilogy. Of course, now all 3 are out by 7 Star Press, and you can get all that information at 7starpress.com or my own website, rjsullivanfiction.com. We'll go over a couple more things. This is, by the way, I will be reading from the hardback edition, only available through 7 Star. Go on their website to check that out. So, I believe this mostly sets itself up. We'll see. Chapter 4. Long ago, Daryl had made a habit to keep a second alarm clock in the main room of his apartment for mornings such as this, when he'd fallen asleep in front of the TV. Last night, as usual, he'd zoned out on the couch. Unlike other nights, he dreamed the most incredible and realistic erotic dream he could ever remember. Hell, he hadn't even had one of those since late college. Sex in Dolby 6-speaker surround sound, full 3D realism and feel-tastic flesh tones, and starring a very special guest star from his subconscious, the amazing Maxine Marie. That would be her, as you know. What a dream! That was almost worth getting turned down by his real girlfriend. Almost. As he stabbed at the snooze button and shifted his body to relieve the ache from sleeping on the couch, he resolved to fix the mess he'd made of things with Loretta as soon as he saw her at lunch today. He opened his eyes and slowly stood up. Now all he had to do... A voice interrupted. Hi, Daryl. What the... She lounged across the length of the couch, her lips parted in that famous, devastating smile. Not on his TV screen, but full size, her yellow sundress barely containing her luscious curves. As he drew in a shocked breath, he could smell her, an alluring hint of sex and perfume. Then she spoke. Good morning. I hope you still respect me, Daryl, but if you don't, well, she shrugged and winked. That's okay, too. But how? Daryl stopped. Words failed him. Logic failed him. Nothing about this made sense. His brain told his eyes, his nose, his ears that what they registered before him was simply batshit impossible. But as he sat, mute, she rose from the couch and stood before him in devastating reality, her face now inches from his. Daryl, she emitted that incredibly cute giggle. I know it's a bit intense, I imagine. No. He stepped back, hands folded across his chest, self-conscious of his rumpled look. No. No way. Who the hell are you? I'm Maxine, Daryl. I know, it sounds fantastic. Impossible. Fantastically impossible, whatever you want to call it, but... Bullshit, you're Maxine. Is this some sort of sick joke by Loretta? He realized as soon as he said it how impossible that was. Loretta could be pretty adventurous at times, but her perch just didn't swing this direction. Loretta would never instigate, let alone condone, a scenario where he ended up getting laid by a Maxine Marie look-alike. What a look-alike! You look just like her. No, Daryl, I'm really me. I mean, I'm really Maxine. It's confusing, but Maxine Marie died nearly 50 years ago. There is no way you are Maxine Marie. Daryl! Her eyes widened at his expletive, responding like someone truly not used to hearing people curse casually. I know this is really weird. It's really, really weird. But look. As he watched, her body literally dimmed, then turned ethereal, and then she slowly vanished. A giggle rose upon the air, and she phased in again, apparently having taken 3 steps to her left. No way. Yes, it's true, Daryl. I've been with you ever since you purchased this... She waved her hand at the wall, specifically at the rent check. This check thing. But I couldn't talk to you. You couldn't see me. Until last night. Then, somehow, there I was, and overnight, I've been experimenting. I'm getting pretty good. I can control it. Look. She reached out and gripped his hand. He wanted to pull away, though her alluring warmth caused an arousing stir. Then her hand was no longer there, and his hand passed through her. He could see the outline of his couch through her body. Maxine solidified and gripped his hand again. See? I'm getting better. Stronger. I don't want to scare you, but more powerful. Like a ghost, Daryl finished. Maxine, he had to accept her identity, drew in a breath and released it in a sigh of frustration. A ghost, she shrugged and grinned. Boo. You're not very scary for a ghost. Yeah, well, I'm kind of new to this haunting thing. Daryl sank down into the couch and covered his face in his hands. His head spun, the edges of reality blurring. His brain still screamed in the back of his head. Bullshit. Foul. No way this is happening. And yet he had to find some way to accept it. As she sat down next to him, he sensed, rather than saw, the reality of her. The warmth of her arms around him spoke of her solidity. She felt so good, so real in the room. And her voice, It's okay, Daryl. I'm a little freaked out about it too. But how can you be here? Why me? You have millions of fans all over the world. I do? She sounded genuinely shocked to hear this news. And you don't haunt people. Look, I'm a big fan. I know all the stories and rumors. If you haunted fans, I would have heard about it. Well, I don't. That is, well, you're the first. By the way, what year is it? 2012. Oh my, so I've lost almost 50 years. Wow. Really? So the last thing you remember is... He hesitated. Maxine finished. I tried to call the hospital after I took too many pills. She shrugged. I couldn't sleep, and I guess I overdid it. So it wasn't suicide? Oh, goodness, no. And no one tried to kill you? Huh? She shook her head and scoffed. Don't be ridiculous. Why would you think that? It's one of the wilder conspiracy theories. My favorite is that gangsters killed you with a deadly enema. Her uneasy giggle brought a smile to his face. How absurd. No one killed me. I didn't even mean to commit suicide. I just made a mistake. I couldn't sleep, and I did something that wasn't very smart, but it had worked before. I take a tranquilizer with every sip of champagne until I fall asleep. Went through the entire bottle of champagne. I don't know how many pills. Her hand squeezed his. He looked up into her doll-like pale face. I remember being so scared when I couldn't move. I hate being alone. I hate it. And I couldn't move, and I couldn't call anyone, and I was turning numb, and I knew I was going to die, and I'd be all alone when it happened. Tears trickled down her face. He reached out and brushed the wetness with a knuckle. I'm sorry. Maxine smiled. What for? I finally fell asleep, and I stayed asleep for a long, long time. Do something stupid and become a legend. Who knew? She sniffled, her face distorted in sadness. Do something so stupid that even the rent check you wrote to keep from ending up in the street becomes a valuable collector's item to the vultures. Rent check? Daryl glanced at the framed image and back at her. You think that's what this is about? I don't know. I just know that the first thing I remember, well, as a ghost I mean, was standing between you two while you fought over whether you'd buy the check. Daryl considered. I suppose that makes sense. How do you feel about it? Maxine folded her arms across her chest and glared. Gee, I don't know, mister. How would you feel about seeing your personal check framed and for sale at a souvenir shop? So that is an extended sample of Haunting Obsession, available through 7-Star Press. They're at 7starpress.com. You can get all the details at R.J.Sullivanfiction.com. No spaces. I got all the necessary linky links there for anything you want to order. And we may do this again. Have a good weekend. Thanks.